What does one say to an ancient Nephilim ghost?
I suppose you start with...
Is my mother. She oldest woman in the whole of Kusek. She is a 43. I love her.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. This is episode 2 of the solo Road to 150 all classes. I'm not sure we're going to get this done, but we're gonna tour. This is going to be episode 2. I've got my cup of tea, my Mr. Funny mug. Hope you like the Mr. Man. Yeah, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Let me know if you're enjoying this series. Episode 2, we've had a fair bit of progress, and I just thought we'd sort of talk about the account, where we are, what are the plans. This is filmed on Wednesday morning, so we're still comfortably under a week into the season. And progress, I think for me, personally, this is quite good. I'm quite happy with this. I wasn't quite sure I'd be this far along. You know, it kind of depends. I've got all 7 classes made. As we can see, Monk is still level 1. Witch Doctor is still level 1. Crusader is still level 1. Haven't really touched those classes yet. The bulk of the playtime for the 1500 Paragon has probably gone into the Demon Hunter. We did start that, so we've done just under 28 hours on Demon Hunter. So obviously we use this to get the full altar unlock, you know, keys, bounties, and geos speeds early on. Next, we've then built our XP barb. I haven't quite managed to get enough time on this. I've got about 6 hours in. This is probably a fairly easy way to get XP, you know, when we can play it. But obviously the opportunity doesn't always arise. It's, you know, all the time. We set up Necro for doing keys on an intelligence-based class. Again, like only about the 4 hours done, you know, setting the build up, doing some T16s. And then slowly, I think over time, Wizard is going to overtake the Demon Hunter, I think, as our most played class, because we're finally getting the Talrasha build up and going. So that's kind of where we are with all the classes, you know, in terms of the development. Haven't done any pushing at all yet. I really don't see the point this early on, simply because Talrasha is going to be our best push. That's going to be the easiest way to get as high as possible, and the build isn't finished. So whilst I could try and get, you know, higher up than this like tier 130 in 3 minutes 47, I don't see the point, because we're still missing a couple of gear pieces. So for example, our Grand Vizier, we really want area damage instead of vitality, so we're going to have to get up some more primordial ash basically to reforge it. I'm not sure how much we've got. It's in here in the materials tab, isn't it? So we've got one more go of it that we can do, and if we salvage another primal we get 2 goes. So we're kind of just waiting on primals a little bit. Speaking of which, we did get a very nice Talrasha chest plate primal. That was pretty good drop from Gadala. But aside from that, we've not got Ancient Pants, so this is an item for Bloodshard targeting. We've got non-ancient boots. We've got the nice near 900 roll on it, but we would like an ancient pair. I've only managed to craft cold Orgilds, so we are using the Comet rune for the meteors at the moment. Again, we've got Orgild shoulders, which are okay. Again, these could be improved, but they were decent enough, I think, to slap an early augment on. Gloves, we want double crit and area damage, so again this is another piece we're looking to improve upon. Obviously Ancient is going to be difficult. Our Convention is not great. Again, for a non-ancient one it's perfect, but we'd like an ancient one. This can drop on any class and we don't need the main stat. So it's a piece I'm a little reluctant to reforge. The Amulet, again, we could do with improving this. Double crit cold, you know, double crit arcane if we want to move on to Star Pact and give that a try. Again, non-ancient helm. So there's a lot of gear pieces to improve here. You know, Carini, again, it's going to be very, very tough to get in like high 70s roll on this with double crit and maybe area damage. All damage is an ancient. The gems are 131, 47 and 131. So there's lots basically to improve. When we get a better weapon, we'll augment it. When we get better pants, we'll augment it. We've got the belt done. We've got the chest plate done. We've got the shoulders done, the braces, and that's it. So there's a lot of power still to be added to this. So that's basically what we're going to do today. I think we're going to play this for a couple of hours, roll all our shards on trousers, then probably swap over to gloves, or maybe helms actually. because gloves can be really tricky to get nice ones. So we'll go for the easier pieces first, I think. Trousers, hat, then move on to gloves and onto the boots. Now, I don't really want to be spending bounty materials reforging this stuff, and the reason for that is because I know we're going to be playing probably another 40, 50, 60 hours of Wizard this season. So in theory, if we give it enough time, the drops should come if we play this class as our main class for the season. So it is a bit of a waste putting bounty mats into it. It's probably much more beneficial to use these bounty mats on classes that we're not going to play anywhere near as much, like maybe the Necro, certainly the Crusader, certainly the Witch Doctor, and certainly the Monk. Initially, certainly to get them going. So yeah, again, we'll kind of sort of see how we go. We don't want to blow too much too early.
That's what she said.
We could do more bounties. Of course, we need to balance this. We've got about enough Forgotten Souls for like 40 reforges, there or thereabouts. So I guess as this number builds, we'll probably try and do some bounties and burn them down. But at the moment, I still think we can probably get some good success, great success, by just playing the build and getting the pieces. Now, the comments that I've had, again, in the Discord, if you want to comment on anything, stick it in there, and I will get to it. But on yesterday's video, which was the Wizard Bounty Blaster, which a lot of Gears of Dreadlands fans were very not happy with. I really like the Wizard Bounty build. I'm going to play it today, I think, maybe, because we are lower-ish on bounty mats. So I'm going to keep track of how many bounties I do, because I think it's really fast, and I really like it. But on that video, somebody said, your stash is giving me anxiety. So I thought today what we will do is we'll go through and talk about how I sort my stash on season. I have played 7 characters on one account for the last 2 seasons, and this is basically my stash method, I guess, is what we're going to go through today. So the first 2 tabs are inbox, so this could be like anything can go in here. This is like what I collect over the course of play sessions, anything I'm interested in. Pretty much if I pick it up, it'll go in here. So you'll see there's lots of follower items because 7 classes, 3 followers, we almost need at least 14 sets of follower gear, maybe a little bit higher if you're going to run 3 particular setups. There might be things like I've stuffed a gold wrap in here. I know I probably don't need that anymore, so that can come out. But when this gets kind of full-ish, I will generally then go through it, take off the pieces. Like this is a Necro piece, obviously. My Necro may as well hold it. And yeah, pieces go in here, and I'll review them when they get full. So long as I've got enough space to play, then I don't have to stop to review. And again, once a week, I'll go through this. Like there's a lot of IK pieces here. I'm going to do the IK set dungeon on Barb. Once that's done, they'll all be going out. So the first 2 are like an inbox and in tray, just general, whatever it is, chuck any shit in there. We'll sort it out once it gets full. The rest of it I do try and keep organised. So tab 3 is gems. So I only try and keep Marquee, Imperial and Flawless Royal. If there are any stragglers, I will go to the jeweler and fix them up, because we 7 classes, stash space is really, really important. So we're trying to keep this here just for gems. Then in this section here, we've got all of our main gems. So we've got no duplicates here. I occasionally, you'll forget when you swap characters, you might get an extra esoteric alteration. You might get an extra trapped or an extra gold wrap. Boon of the Hoarder. Any ones that are limited, like gold, like Boon of the Hoarder, if I find I've got a second Boon of the Hoarder in here, we chuck it away. There's no point keeping it. We can only get that up to level 50. Same for an ESO. We're not interested in level 100 augments. So again, that would just get thrown away. As time goes on, I will take some of these gems out and put them on a mule character to hold for augments. So I don't mind a couple of things, like we've got an extra copy of the Bane of the Trapped here. I don't mind that. Extra copies of the Bane of the Powerful, that's fine. So at some point we will try and generate more gems. The way to do that is basically you put a gem on one character, go do a rift with another character. The game will think that you don't have a Bane of the Stricken, as an example, and it will drop you another one. So that's kind of how we do. But obviously the fastest way to augment it at the moment in the game is Whisper of Atonements. And really, it's not going to be until we've got all of our gems at like 125 that we're going to really be worrying about augmenting anything other than these. So this section here, we've got the 4 Infernal Machine materials. I then will put a Ramalandes. We've then got the Petrified Scream Keys. Last season, I think we had the special materials that went here, and then this was just basically for Whisper of Atonements. Again, once this gets full, we take them out and we mule them onto another character. I've got 2 mule spaces for the season, basically. So when this gets full, we do try and save them. But again, I know now that I can do another 6 augments. Absolutely no problemo. The next 2 tabs on this first page are weapons. So basically, again, kind of anything that looks interesting. So, you know, we've got a few in-gems here. I know I need one for Monk. I know I've got this really nice one here, you know, for an intelligence class. So we've got one for Dex. So I guess we just need one for Strength. So, you know, this one here, that can go out now. We know we don't need that. We've got another nice in-gem here. We've got a better intelligence one, so we can throw that one out. So again, it's just a case of making a little bit of space, and we're keeping weapons for things that we know we're going to play. So like Wizard Spike, I'd chuck this in here for leveling a wizard. I'm probably not going to use this, but it has got a fairly high modifier. It is ancient, it's got 9% damage. So whilst we've got the space, I'm going to hang on to it. I try and put shields, orbs, satchels and stuff like that in this section. So this is more the offhand one. But obviously for things like Demon Hunter, the hand crossbows get, you know, mixed up. So again, we've got non-ancient calamity there because I must have been saving that for a ZDH. We don't need it anymore. You know, again, duplicate serpents barker. We don't really need that. So, you know, if and when I do go through my gear each week, if I find things that I know I definitely don't need, I will kind of throw them out. But we're trying to keep weapons for basically builds we're going to play. So we might use Serpent Spark or Fragment of Destiny for Hydra Wizard. I think there's a chance I'm going to play that this season. You know, in-gems are useful. The Raycore weapons are potentially useful. I need to extract this Blade of the Tribes. So again, I can take that out. We can extract that. And then we just kind of work through things like that. And this will fill up, of course, over time, you know, fist weapons. I'm going to try and limit myself to like 1 build for Witch Doctor, 1 for Monk, 1 for Crusader, so it doesn't get overly stuffed. But I generally find 2 tabs of weapons and offhands. Again, as we play a lot more Necro, this will fill up with a lot of Necro offhands and so on and so forth, shields. So that's those 2 tabs there. Over onto the next page, the first one is armor, and this is helms and shoulders. So again, it's a similar thing. Any build I know I'm going to play, like I know I'm going to make a Dragool Necro, so I'm hanging on to Dragool pieces. And then basically as I get my next Dragool helm, if I'm playing solo or I've got a spare minute, I will check to see whether it's better than the one I've got and replace it. So we might do a swap and go, right, this one's better, we'll swap out. If we're doing in a rush super speed blasting, we chuck it all into the inbox and go through it later. You know, like obviously, nice pair of double crits Rathma gloves here. You know, probably worth hanging on to, that sort of thing. Again, there's likely to be lots of dupes in here as we start going. Like I've got 3 Gears of Dreadlands helms, or because my character's probably wearing one. So I think that one can definitely go out, for instance. You know, gold find on secondaries is useful for T16 and stuff like that. So there is dupes, and there are sometimes, you know, secondary stats that we might want. We're going to find a lot of the Oryx crowns in here. Broken crowns, because again, I wear this in Echoing Nightmares to get gems. A Stray Natalia's weapon in there, so that can go out. So, you know, even with the best will in the world, sometimes things can get a little messy in here. Visage of Goons, probably want to extract that. So we'll go through that and do that now. So I guess this is a little bit of a gear cleanse as well. But that's it. You know, if again, at any point I notice one of these tabs is really overflowing, then it's a sign to try and sort it out and go through it. The next tab is gloves and chests, and then the next one underneath it is pants. Now, it might well be that over time gloves get overfilled because we've now potentially got gloves of worship to use on support builds, St. Archie's Gauge. Lots of gloves. Gloves are very difficult to roll, so you might find you have multiple copies of gloves. So it might well be that I convert this one here to be pants and chests. It depends really on how the season's going. But again, similar thing, keeping sets that I'm going to play, keeping pieces that look interesting. I tend to do a primal only challenge most seasons, so again, I'm looking, at the moment, the next Primal Helm, I guess, and Primal Shoulders are going to go in here. For that, again, we'll look to replace them as we go. Pants, similar story, and then belts. Again, belts I tend to find there's a lot of playing like Barb, Crusader, Witch Doctor, Demon Hunter, Wizard. There's a lot of unique class belts, so I tend to find that is its own tab. Not much in here at the moment, but again, this will kind of grow. And the last one at the moment is boots. Again, there's quite a few kind of bespoke boots like Ice Climbers, Necro boots, Stuart's Greaves. Again, it's a similar story. 2 Marauders here. I haven't looked up the Marauder build. I don't know if I'm going to play Marauder. It might be the strongest Demon Hunter build. So for the moment, I'm hanging on to both of these. Neither of them really look actually particularly good looking at them, because one's got move speed and elemental arrow, and one's got armor and rapid fire. So I suspect they're both probably for the bin. But for the time being, until I find a better player, whatever, we'll just kind of keep hold of them. So that is page 2. Page 3 is braces. This is the most difficult page. I always find this is a nasty page to keep hold of because, Wraps of Clarity. I might need 2 different elements. I might need fire and I might need cold. And I might want a ZDH type pair with defensive stats on. So this one here, crit chance, max on the damage reduction 50%. Got cold here, 5%, crit, 44%. Fire, but this one's ancient. Cold, but this one's ancient. And then we've got here an all-res one, but with armor, and then I can pick. So if you see what I mean, like I might use any of these in the build at the moment. And again, whilst it's not overly full at the moment, we can get away with it. But again, as things progress and it gets fuller, we're going to have to be a little bit more judicial. I have kept a Crystarian Wrist Guards just for leveling to get the little extra XP. So again, once I've got all classes at 70, I'll probably chuck these away. Reaper's Wraps, again, crappy pair from a Necro. When I bother to craft a new pair, they'll go out. And, just anything interesting can kind of go in here. But it is definitely the hardest one to keep tabs of. Again, lots of Nemesis Braces, just for follower setups. So again, once we've got all the followers done, I really will probably only have 2 or 3 Nemesis Braces in here, which will basically be all my support builds. But sometimes you're doing keys, you're in a group, and you need a pair of Nemesis Braces to do some keys, because it just makes everything a little bit faster. The last 2 tabs are rings and amulets. Now for rings, I've got a selection of puzzles here. I tend to, at some point, start only keeping ancients. We might be kind of there now. So I sometimes, because again, rings is really, really hard to keep on top of. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll move and I'll just basically put the ancient puzzle rings here with the amulets. I'll actually move them all down this side here. That'll give us some more space in the amulet category. And really, I think we're probably good on gem. I kept them initially just for gems, to get the gems for augments, but we seem to be okay. And Echoing Nightmares gives a lot of gems anyway, so I think I'll probably get rid of all these puzzle rings. As much as it annoys people, because I know people like puzzles, but that's it. That's like how we manage to stash and keep on top of it. Now, again, as this gets fuller, as the season goes, what I sometimes try and do is I will keep most of this free here. So this first inbox, I might block it off down here with stuff, and then put something, almost like a physical barrier across this row. And then what I will do is I will keep, on a character, I might keep my Necro stuff on my Necro in the inventory here, and then when I play the Necro, I'll chuck it all in this gridded section here, and then I've still got 1 inbox. But at the moment, early on in the season, I find 2 inboxes is necessary because I'm just picking up so much stuff, and I don't want to be stopping and looking through it all. I'd rather kind of do that at the end of the day, first thing in the morning, or once every few days when it gets kind of full. Right, so I guess that's it. We're at 1500 Paragon, which is pleasing. We, gem-wise, need to get things up. I think what we're going to do is try and get this to under 3 minutes for 130. Once we've got our other wizard pieces perfected, I'll then hopefully make a speed build on wizard. And then after that, I think we will push and try and get close to. I say close to 150. If I was a skilled player, I could probably do it with this level of Paragon. But I am a potato, so it might take a little bit more. If I look at some of the guys in the clan who play a lot more than me, we're getting up there. Somebody will break 150 in the next day or two, I'm pretty sure. And we'll have to try and get in on the party. It's like we're only a few hundred Paragon behind. We don't obviously have the augments at the moment, but another few hours on the wizard, another few bounty runs, we could be up there getting this kind of level gear and augments. So we'd only be behind on Paragon a little bit, and we're getting up to like 148. So we're hopefully getting pretty close. And I think wizard is definitely going to be the first one that we pop, and then Necro is going to be 2, and then after that I'm kind of crapping myself because I'm not sure how we're going to do. I think as all classes done 150 yet. Yes, we've got Barber's done on 150, Crusader's done on 150, the H is not there at 149. This worries me a lot, the Demon Hunter. I'm going to guess this is Marauder. No, Natalia Spike Traps, interesting. Monk has of course done 150, Necro of course done 150, Witch Doctor, nobody's done this one yet, but I think that might just simply be because there's not many people playing it. Again, it worries me a lot, the Witch Doctor. And then Wizard, of course, we're at somebody's like speed farming it in 5 minutes, which is nuts. And ultimately, this is the kind of level where by the end of the season, you're hoping to get to where you've got like 3.5k Paragon, maybe 4k Paragon, and you're crushing 150 in 5-6 minutes solo, and then you're absolutely laughing, and you'll pile on loads of Paragon, and then we'll get all of it done. And that's the theory. Right, that was a little bit longer than expected. I hope you like this video format, and welcome to feedback. If there are questions you want me to answer, I've got some topics that I think we can discuss, like obviously gear management and cleansing was one of them. We might do, how to push, we might do how to make ults, how to Z-barb, how to ZDH, anything like that. Just state the questions in the Discord and we'll get to them. I'm going to get back to blasting. Have a great day. I've been the Filthy Casual. Take it easy, guys. Peace.